You know that feeling, right? You get your first real paycheck. You're so excited, you tear it open and whoa. Wait a second. This number is not what you were expecting at all.
Yeah, it's that sinking feeling. You start asking yourself, where did all my money go? You know you did the work, you earned it, but it feels like a huge chunk just, poof, vanished somewhere between your boss's office and your bank account. And let me tell you, if you feel that way, you are absolutely not alone.
Paul Vazquez from Tax Lab Inc. really hits the nail on the head. He says it kind of feels like you're paying more than your fair share. And that just perfectly captures that initial shock, right? It can feel super frustrating, maybe even a little unfair. But don't worry, today we're going to use his insights to completely demystify that pay stub. And I promise by the end of this, you're going to see your paycheck in a totally new light.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where is all that money actually going? To answer that, we have to back up a little and ask a really basic question. Why do taxes even exist in the first place? You might think it's some kind of modern-day punishment, but believe it or not, this idea goes way, way back.
So picture this. Ages ago, you were a farmer. You'd give the king a chunk of your harvest, kind of like rent for using his land. Fast forward to today. We don't have kings, but we live in a democracy, and we still kind of pay rent. It's really just a fee for all the shared stuff we get by living in a society that works. You know, things like roads we all drive on and services we all count on, like national defense.
So that brings us to a much better way to think about it. Taxes aren't a punishment. They're basically just transactional fees. It's the cost of doing business, of running this huge, complex economy inside of a society so we all have a safe and stable place to live and work. All right, so now we know why taxes exist, but what are those mystery line items actually eating up your paycheck? Let's zoom in and break down the two biggest culprits you're going to see. Okay, so look at your pay stub. You'll see two main categories. First, there's Social Security and Medicare. The best way to think about this is, well, it's income redistribution. It's money that goes to support seniors and people with disabilities. That money, you're not getting it back in a tax refund. Then you've got federal income tax. This is different. This is a tax on what you earn. And here's the kicker. You might actually get some or even all of this money back as a refund, especially if you're in a lower income bracket.
So this probably makes you wonder, is the government taxing every single dollar I make? And the answer, thankfully, is nope. And there's a really important reason for that.
It's called the standard deduction. Basically, the government gets that you need a certain amount of money just to, live, for basic expenses. So they carve out this chunk of your income and say, okay, this part is tax-free. We're not going to touch it. It's the minimum amount they figure you need just to get by.
Okay, that's enough theory. I know what you're thinking. This is all interesting, but can I actually do anything about how much money is taken out? And the answer is a big, loud yes. Your first and maybe your most powerful tool is a really simple form called the W-4.
So let me explain why this little form is such a big deal. The U.S. has what's called a pay-as-you-go system. It means you don't just pay a giant tax bill in April. Instead, you pay a little bit as you go with each paycheck. Your employer is legally required to be the tax collector here. And the W-4, that's you telling your employer exactly how much to collect. It's your instruction manual to them.
And here's the thing. You are in the driver's seat. You can go to your HR department and ask for a W-4 form anytime. You can change it. Let's say you know for a fact you're not going to earn enough this year to owe any taxes. Well, you might be able to claim exempt, and then they won't take anything out. The whole point is to understand this form so you can make it work for you.
Okay, so up until now, we've been talking about taxes as something that's taken away from you. But now we're going to pivot to a much, much bigger idea. I want you to consider something. What if the tax code wasn't just a list of rules about what you owe? What if it was actually a secret map to building wealth?
I know. That sounds completely backwards, right? How can the very thing designed to take your money actually help you make more? Just stick with me here for a second, because this is the part that could change how you see everything.
This is where that insight from Paul Vazquez comes in, and it's a total game changer. He says, if there is a tax law about it, somebody's probably making money doing it. Think about that. Tax laws don't just appear out of nowhere. The government makes rules to tax the things people are doing to make a lot of money. So the tax code itself becomes this incredible guide that literally shows you where the money is being made in the economy.
The clues are hiding in plain sight. You see something called capital gains tax? That's a giant signpost saying, hey, people are making serious money from investments like stocks. You see all these complicated rules about real estate? That's because people are building wealth selling property. And all those business deductions?
That's basically a giant flashing neon sign that screams entrepreneurship is a huge way to make money. The map is right there in front of us. So let's take this one step further. If the tax code is a map, then this whole system of earning money and paying taxes, it's really just a game. And like any game, it has players, it has a rule book, and it has a goal.
Let's lay it all out. In this game, you're one of the players. You're the earner. The IRS, they're kind of like the other team, or maybe the referee, whose job is to enforce the rules and collect what's legally owed. And the rule book for the entire game, that's the US tax code. So what's the goal? Your goal is to earn and build as much wealth as you possibly can by playing by the rules.
Now this is the most important part. In this game, you can't just pick up the ball and run away. That's called tax evasion, and that gets you thrown out of the game for good. Winning isn't about cheating. Winning is about learning that rulebook, the tax code, so well that you can make smart, strategic plays that help you come out on top, all while the IRS collects exactly what you legally owe.
So let's go all the way back to that number on your paycheck that made you so sad. It's not just a loss. Think of it as your entry ticket. It's proof that you're in the game, the biggest money game in the world. So the real question isn't where did my money go? The real question is, are you ready to learn the rules and actually start playing to win?